today we're going to be making potato curry, okay? Very simple dish, okay? But will have a lot of flavors. There's no meat involved, but I promise it will taste really nice. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is peeling my potato. I've already washed and peeled these ones, okay? And they're already cut as well. So I'm just going to show you or remind you how to use your peeler. Okay, so I'm just showing you how to peel one. I'm just peeling on the side quite quickly, and I'll show you the desired size for cutting your potato. So next week I want everyone to be using their peeler to peel their potatoes. I'm happy with this. I'm just going to give it a quick rinse. Okay. Next week you'll need about 4 medium-sized potatoes. Give it a quick rinse, then I'm just going to cut. I'm using my bridge method. Okay, so my fingers are not in the way, and then I'm going to go for my claw method, okay? And you need your potatoes to be roughly that size, not too chunky. This one is slightly thicker, this side, so I'm going to cut this one in 3, and then 3rd one going across, okay? And I'll just add these to the rest that I've already done. This is already done. I am going to... I've got 1 small onion. Okay, I'm just gonna cut these and chop. Doesn't have to be too small. Okay, so maybe chunk size. My knife is really sharp. And I'll have these ready for later. Okay, so the key is to have everything ready for cooking. I've got 2 cloves of garlic, which I've already peeled, and I'm just going to cut these really small. I'm going to chop them. You can use your garlic press, or next week we've got some frozen garlic in the freezer that you'll be able to use next week. Okay, we've got quite a bit of garlic in school, so you may not have to bring your own garlic. I'm just going to chop these a little bit smaller. All of that ready. I'm not going to be using my knife anymore, so I'm just going to put this in the sink. Yep. Okay. Then I've got all my spices here that I'm going to be using. I've got some garam masala because I'm going to be using. Currently using just a bit more than the required amount of potatoes. I'm going to go for 1 level teaspoon of this spice. You're going to use half next week, okay? So that's my garam masala. These will be provided for you. I've got my ground coriander. I've got my chili powder. I am not going to go for 1 teaspoon of this. I'm just going to go for, because I think it's very spicy. If I need a bit more, I can always add it a bit later. I've got ground cumin. Again, another teaspoon, and I've got my turmeric. Okay. I need to add a teaspoon of sugar, and I'll explain why. I'll just go for it now because I'm going to be using a bit of passata. This is a bit tangy, it's tomato. So to balance the flavor or the taste, I'm adding a teaspoon of sugar to that. Okay, for it not to be too tangy. So I'll have that ready, and I'm going to add a bit of salt. For now, I'm going to go for a little less than 1 teaspoon. If I need a bit, I can always go and add it later. But it's better to add a small amount at this point than to add too much. Okay, because if it's too salty, you can't go and remove the salt. Right. I've got my saucepan here, which I'm going to heat. For now, I'm gonna go for a high to medium, because I'm waiting for it to heat up, my pan to heat. I'm gonna add roughly 2 tablespoons of oil. Yeah, and I'm using vegetable oil. Okay. If the potatoes are sticking later, if it's sticking, I may need to add a tiny bit more. Okay, but I've currently added 2 tablespoons. Wait for the pan to heat. Using one. Okay. How can we tell if our pan is hot? Can you smell the oil? Yeah? So the oil will loosen up quite a bit. I can always hold my hand directly over the pan and I can feel the heat coming up as well. I'm gonna add my cumin seeds to it, or it's called jura. Okay, so it's the same as cumin seeds. I'm gonna go for, that's too much, miss? 1 teaspoon. Okay, I'm gonna take that off the heat a little bit because it's a bit too hot, getting too hot. Okay, I'm gonna let my jura seed, wait for them to change color slightly. Okay, and you will smell the flavors coming through. Once they get a bit dark, then I'm gonna go and add my potatoes. And you can always turn your flame up and down. If you realize the pan is smoking too much, turn it down. Turn the flame down. If it's not cooking at all, or you can't see the reaction of the food being cooked, then you can always turn it up a bit. Can you smell any difference? Flavors coming through? And I'm gonna wait for them to go black, just for them to go a bit brown, change color a bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Then I'm going to add my potatoes. Give it a quick stir. Maybe roughly a minute, and stir it occasionally throughout that minute. And it's just allowing the flavors to coat on the jersey, to coat the potatoes at this point. At this point, I'm going to go and add my chopped onions and my garlic. Give this a quick mix again. Then I'm going to add I'm going to mix these ingredients together. So all my spice, I'm going to mix them together. Flavors coming through equally. And then I'm going to add half of my mixture. Okay. Let it cook for about a minute. Then I'm going to add the other half. Mix this in, ensure that it's coating all my potatoes and all my onions, my flavors coming through. And I'm gonna add the rest of my mixture. Give it a quick mix. I'm gonna let it cook through for about 2-3 minutes. But at the same time, I'm ensuring that the flame is not too high and it's not burning. Okay, not sticking to the pan. I'll let that sit a few minutes. Got one ingredient I need to add there, and I've got my water as well I need to add. Okay, you need the moisture to cook the potatoes through. I'm stirring occasionally. Right. The recipe asks for half cup of water, but because I'm using slightly more than the required ingredients and potatoes, I'm gonna go for maybe 3/4 cup of water, or maybe even one cup, to ensure that I've got enough liquid there to cover my potatoes. Okay, and it's boiling water. Okay, so I'm happy with this one now. Okay, at this stage with the chili going in the back of my throat there. I'm going to be adding my passata. So this is basically pureed tomato in a box. Okay, just going to add that, and this is just half of the passata. Some was already used. Okay. You can get your passata in any supermarket. Some of us may find that you've got it at home, so double check with parent carers, so maybe you won't have to go and buy that. Then I'm going to go and add my water, my boiling water. Okay. Okay. Give it a quick stir. And then I'm going to leave this to cook on a medium heat. Okay. Maybe for about 15-20 minutes until my potatoes are tender and basically coming away from just breaking at the sides slightly, but you do not want it to be too mushy. Okay. So leave that to cook for about 15-20 minutes on a medium heat. Okay. A bit later I may lower the heat to low. Okay. Right. You could have your product next week with a bit of rice. So if you want to, within your groups, you can each bring in maybe a cup of basmati rice, and then we'll cook it for you. That bit you would not have to cook in the practical. We'll just cook that for you, so you can have your potato curry with that for lunch, for example. Okay, and take a bit of it home as well. Okay. Right, thank you.